We've got another huge patch in our hands with many meta champs from 13.4 falling in power. Every single role will see a shakeup this patch, as we are set to break down the most optimal solo carries for 13.5. But before we get into it, be sure to check out SkillCapped if you want to truly get better at League of Legends. We're the only service that offers a money-back guarantee if you don't climb at least 5 divisions while actively using our service. We do this because our service really does work, and if it doesn't work for you, you shouldn't pay. Learn more at the end of this video or click the link in the description below. Gangplank nerfs give room for a few newcomers to step into the spotlight, as Olaf will be our first soloed carry top. When it comes down to exerting early game pressure and dominating the laning phase, few do it better than Olaf. Olaf does extremely well in extended skirmishes, as his dueling power ramps up the lower health he's on. The more room you have to run the enemy down with Ghost, the more kill threat you'll have, so letting the enemy push into you is a good win condition. You can whittle the enemy down with Q and E poke, and then once they're in lethal and step up too far, you can run them down with Ghost for easy kills. Our new website exclusive Master in Minutes Wave Control course is a really good resource if you're looking to improve your wave control game. It's very quick, condensed, and to the point content that is easy to grasp and will instantly improve your wave control knowledge. Ban-wise for Olaf, Fiora is one of the more volatile lanes, as her mobility and W can be difficult to trade around. There are a few viable builds for Olaf going around right now. Ravenous into Jockshow is the most popular 2-item core, while Stridebreaker into Death Stance is also a great option. It really comes down to preference here, so try both out and see what you like the best. Conqueror is the optimal Olaf keystone, along with Inspiration for secondaries, running free boots, and approach velocity. Fresh off some massive buffs from 13.4, Malphite will be moving into a top 3 spot for the first time this season. Malphite is such an incredible top laner right now because you can adapt extremely well to each matchup and hard counter a lot of the meta picks. Recent W buffs give so much more power to a W max, and you should be looking to try it out in matchups where you're against a physical damage melee champ. A solid win condition you can look to apply to all your games is utilizing Fog of War to maximize pick power. Malphite Ultimate is such a disgusting teamfight tool if the enemy doesn't see it coming, so if you can secure vision around objectives, wait for the enemy to face check in and land a multi-man ult in a choke. Your job is done. Without question, the best ban for Malphite is Sylas, as the champ with Malphite Ultimate is just way too powerful. Core build for Mal consists of an Iceborne Gauntlet Rush into Sunfire second and a situational tank item third. Comet is the best keystone if you're planning to go for a Q max, while Grasp is going to work best when you're in melee lanes and are going for the W max. Maintaining his spot in the top lane, top 3 for another patch is going to be Darius. Worth noting right off the bat is that a Doran's Shield start is now performing way worse than Doran's Blade. D shield nerfs last patch have led to Darius running into some issues against top laners with strong harass power like GP and Jace. Lucky for Darius, Gangplank is being nerfed in 13.5, so if you focus your ban on Jace, things should be smooth sailing. In lanes where the enemy lacks early poke power, definitely be running Doran's Blade now instead of Doran's Shield. D-Blade users are now winning a whole 3% more than D-Shield users. To maximize Darius' potential, be aggressive off the level 2 spike if you hit it before the enemy. Both level 2 and level 3 are really big spikes for Darius, so if the enemy disrespects you and does not back off when you have the level lead, look to punish by going all in with Ghost. Build for Darius consists of a Stridebreaker or Trinity Force Rush into Dead Man's Plate second and Sterix or Force of Nature third. Rune Page is Conqueror as the keystone, along with Resolve for secondaries with Second Wind and Unflinching. Taking Second Wind helps make up for those nerfs to Doran's Shield. The best solo queue jungler for 13.5 is none other than Jarvan. Jarvan does it all right now, as his early game power is amazing. Teamfight is some of the best for any jungler, and the catch range is ridiculous with EQ into Flash R combo. In games where you have a melee CC support, look to be camping bot and getting them ahead. Especially after recent ADC buffs, the team who has the stronger ADC is likely to win that game, so playing for bot whenever you can is vital to your success. Jarvan EQ combo in combination with something like a Thresh hook or Nautilus hook is a free kill every single time. Ban-wise for Jarvan, we would recommend getting rid of a meta peel support like Rakan or Thresh, as they can do a good job at limiting your catch power. Gore Drinker into Black Cleaver is the staple 2-item core for Jarvan, and your third purchase really depends on the game. For runes, roll with Conqueror followed by Triumph, Alacrity, and Coup de Grace. Magical Footwear and Cosmic Insight are the way to go for secondaries. Early ganks are being hit in 13.5, while farming will now become more rewarding, which is absolutely incredible for a jungler like Fiddle. We've already had Fiddle rated as one of the best solo queue junglers in previous patches, and he'll become even more powerful moving forward. It's not like Fiddle's early ganks are the worst in the game, but his level 6 power is just drastically better, so more gold going into jungle camps is amazing. Fiddle's ultimate allows for him to pull off some of the more creative gank paths at level 6, making his bot lane gank power insanely strong. Tower dive power is also some of the best for any jungler, jungler, so looking to snowball bot lane at level 6 is a really good win condition. Optimal ban for Fiddle right now is Jarvan. The only way you lose on Fiddle is if the enemy jungler is playing an early game dominant pick and they snowball super hard, so with Jarvan being meta, he's a no-brainer ban. Standard build path consists of a Rocket Belt Rush into Zanya 2nd and Shadow Flame or Void Staff 3rd. For runes, First Strike has slowly but surely become the staple keystone for Fiddle, and you'll grab Domination for secondaries with Cheap Shot and Ultimate Hunter. Another jungler we've rated quite highly in recent patches, who's only going to become more optimal in 13.5, is Evelynn. Eve plays very similar to Fiddle in the sense that level 6 is where she thrives, and reaching that as quick as possible is vital. Added gold from farming camps means an even more lethal level 6 spike for Evelynn in 13.5. Since Eve can't be as proactive throughout the early game, banning out a strong meta ganking jungler like Jarvan is a good idea. The build consists of a Rocket Belt Rush into Rabadon 2nd and Void Staff 3rd. Electrocute is the keystone with Sudden Impact, Eyeball Collection, and Relentless Hunter. Optimal secondaries include Absolute Focus and Gathering Storm. Coming off recent buffs in 13.4, and an especially strong mid laner for the lower ranks is Veigar. Those range buffs to Q and W are super massive and help immensely to alleviate Veigar's core weakness of being a shorter ranged mage. The only matchup most Veigar players have been losing quite heavily to in recent patches is Aurelion Sol. So now that he's nerfed in 13.5, it gets even better for Veig. Highly mobile assassins are who Veigar struggles against the most, so banning out Zed or Katarina is good value. Win condition for Veigar is quite simple, as you want to farm as many Q stacks as possible throughout the early game to begin taking over 2 items onward. There are 2 viable builds you can run on Veigar. If you are against a heavy melee dive comp, then run Everfrost for added peel power. Into a heavier ranged comp, Rod of Ages is amazing and synergizes very well with Veigar's scaling power. Rune-wise, Electrocute is the most common keystone, however, First Strike is being played a ton in high elo and works very well if you're going for the Rod of Ages build. One mid laner heavily prioritized in the higher ranks but more slept on for lower elos is Tristana. Trist mid is insanely strong right now with a Quick Blades and Bloodthirster build. Majority of Trist players are still running Phantom Dancer, but you don't even need the attack speed since Quick Blades will give you perma uptime on Q. The assassination power with this build is absolutely nuts, and it's almost like you don't even play Trist like a normal ADC. You can win lane with Trist as early as the second wave due to how powerful her level 2 all-in is. Look to hit 2 before the enemy, and if they're still level 1 and in your W range, jump in for an easy winning trade. Ban-wise for Trist, Cassio is a good option as she does a good job at nullifying Trist's ability to jump in aggressively. When going for this AD stack build, look to run Lethal Tempo as the keystone to make up for the lost attack speed. Overheal is also super underrated and a great pickup since it was buffed. Annie, being a top tier mid for multiple patches throughout all elos brackets, was not on our bingo card for season 13, but here we are. To be fair, the champ does fall off a little for the higher ranks, but she's an absolute monster of a pick for the lower elos and cracks the top 3 in 13.5. Point and click one-shot power makes Annie one of the best champions at punishing players who face check. Set up around objectives before they spawn, hide in fog of war, and take out enemy squishies as they walk in alone. Longer ranged pick champs are who Annie struggles against the most, so banning out Lux is good value. In our recent Korean builds video, we showcased Faker's new Annie setup, and if you aren't aware of it, definitely give it a go. Rod of Ages as the rush item, followed by Zanya's and Rabadon's is the 3-item core. As for runes, its First Strike is the keystone with Perfect Timing, Biscuits, and Cosmic Insight. Mana Flow and Scorch are for secondaries. Jinx has been an ADC trending upwards in recent patches, and with her being buffed in 13.5, she'll be moving into the top 3. Samira and Xayah both falling in power recently also opens things up even more for someone like Jinx to rise above. Thresh buffed and coming back into meta is another reason for priority to rise on Jinx, as that duo is extremely deadly with Hook into Flame Chompers combo. Since Jinx has the ability to play for early kill threat, banning a support like Morgana who can nullify that is a good idea. Mid-game teamfight power is some of the best for any ADC, so once you've got Kraken and Infinity Edge completed is when you should be looking to play for those 5v5s. Third item really depends on the game, as Hurricane, Phantom Dancer, and Fire Cannon are all viable options. Lethal Tempo is the best keystone with Presence of Mind, Bloodline, and Coup de Grace. Run Absolute Focus and Gathering Storm for secondaries. One of the best abusers of the recent Bloodthirster and Overheal changes, and our second solo carry ADC is Draven. Not only this, but more melee supports coming back into meta is extremely good for an early game dominant ADC like Draven. The level 2 jump is something you can look to play towards each game with Draven, and if you manage to hit the spike before your opponents, going all in if they don't respect you is a sure way to obtain an early advantage. Draven can outplay skill shot champs quite well due to his mobility from W, but point and click CC champs like Naut and Annie can be more difficult, so either is a good ban. Bloodthirster Rush into Infinity Edge 2nd and Kraken Slayer 3rd is the core build to try for 13.5. To amplify the power of Bloodthirster even further, you want to run Overheal in runes. Lethal Tempo is the keystone to make up for the lack of attack speed from your first 2 core items. To round out the top 3 for ADC is going to be Twitch. Even though Twitch is being nerfed this patch, it's only AP builds being hit, which won't affect his power level for ADC. If you guys have not tried the Twitch Rakan duo yet and have someone you can play it with, it's literally free elo in 13.5. Rakan being in meta is massive. As Twitch goes in stealth, Rakan E's to him while he's invis, and the enemy does not expect the engage range at all. The duo literally has a 54% win rate across all ranks. This catch power that Twitch possesses is what sets him apart from the majority of ADCs. Tired of waiting for your support to make plays happen? Twitch can do it by himself through going stealth and finding picks on squishies that are caught out of position. Trist is one of the better bans for Twitch, as their early game all-in power is difficult to match. Core build revolves around a Blade of the Ruined King Rush, Kraken Slayer 2nd, and Hurricane 3rd. Lethal Tempo is the keystone, while inspiration for secondaries is quite sleeper now after the Treasure Hunter nerfs. A couple buffs from last patch, and Senna goes from a middling support to one of the best in the game. When it comes down to carry power from the support role, the scaling strength of Senna and her ability to not only deal damage, but provide utility at the same time makes her a great pick. Stacking as many souls as possible throughout the laning phase is a good win condition to play towards, and with more melee supports in meta, this becomes a little easier. With that said, melee supports with point-and-click CC can be more difficult to space around, so banning Nautilus is a good idea. The core build for Senna is an Umbral Glaive Rush into an Eclipse 2nd and Fire Cannon 3rd. Fleet is the keystone rune with Presence of Mind, Alacrity, and Cut Down. Run Bone Plating and Revitalize for secondaries. Annie has shaken off the recent 13.4 nerfs and remains a very powerful solo queue support for another patch. You've got a very clear win condition to play for on Annie, as her skirmish power at level 6 is hard for other supports to match. Just the threat of Tibbers will force the enemy to play more reserved, and you can use that to your advantage to acquire lane priority. If they don't respect the all-in power, then it's very easy for Annie to full combo and nearly one-shot at level 6. The longer range catch supports are who Annie struggles most against, so Lux is a good ban. Standard 2-item core Shirelias with Rylai's as the catch power and staking power of the combo is really insane. For runes, pick up Airy with Mana Flow, Transcendence, and Scorch. Grab Taste of Blood and Relentless Hunter for secondaries. Very surprised to see Rakan escape 13.5 without a single nerf, so he will continue to be an optimal support carry. The instant long-range catch power is something that sets Rakan apart and gives him the ability to punish positional mistakes better than any support. If you like being the one to start fights and not having to rely on your team to do so, Rakan is the perfect support. Playing around Fog of War and picking enemies off when they walk through choke points is key to finding success on Rakan. Look to acquire vision control on the side of the map where the next objective is spawning, and use that knowledge to facilitate pick plays when the enemy team is split. You really want to limit those fights where you're just running at the enemy in the open, as it's much easier for them to react and flash away. Good meta ban for Rakan right now is Annie, as her point-and-click stun can shut down engage power quite heavily. Core build for Rakan is a Shirelia's Rush into Redemption 2nd and Wardstone 3rd. Guardian is the keystone rune, and dip into Domination for secondaries, running Zombie Ward and Ultimate Hunter. Alright guys, before we wrap this up, let's tell you a little more about SkillCapped. So, we offer a 5-division rank up guarantee, and think that's a pretty crazy thing to offer. It's like a gym membership guaranteeing you'll get ripped. Your local gym would go bust if they offered that, right? Not us. We've offered this for years because our service really does work. It works so well, in fact, that we're able to produce by far the largest catalog of premium league guides on the internet. We add over 20 videos a week, with over 1,600 guides curated into over 100 courses no one can compare. We've also sent challenger players into ELO Hell 714 times and counting, where they commentate how to carry live. They also respond to all questions asked. Sign up today for as little as $6.99 a month if you are serious about improving. So there you have it, guys, the best solo carries for every role in 13.5. Thank you so much for watching, good luck with your rank climbs, and we'll catch you in the next one.